He's only in his early 20s and he's already destroying the whole shred guitar scene. Guitar Champion, today I want to react, analyze, learn and talk about one of my favorite current guitar players, Bastian Martinez, aka Baxty. Hey Guitar Champion, what's going on? I'm 𝗏𝙗𝙗𝙗, back from my practice dojo, and yes, I will tell you, the next generation of guitar players, they are incredible. I'm a huge fan of the younger generation, not only musically, also privately, but I'm a huge fan from the guitar playing of the next generation. And today, and maybe in some future videos, we will see, I want to take a little bit of time to analyze actually their picking movement, their left hand movement, some of their ideas, some musical approaches, some licks, all this kind of stuff. And I want to start this with one of my favorite guitar players, I will now say of all time, Baxty. The first time I saw Baxty, I was blown away not only by his technique, but by the consistency, how often he was posting something on the internet, and as well by his musicality. I once made a whole video about him like 1.5 years ago, something like that. You can check it out as well. And today we want to analyze a little bit more of his right hand technique, a little bit of his left hand technique, and maybe learn 1 or 2 licks and approaches from Baxty. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, nice cool energy drink, beer or whatnot, and let's start watching today's video. Okay, first I want to take a closer look onto the right hand technique of Bastian, and therefore I've chosen out some videos where you can really good see his right hand and analyze his right hand. We are going to do exactly this. Right, first I have here this video where he's playing his new 𝙗𝙤𝙢𝙢𝙢, the 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙢𝙢 signature guitar, and he's playing a really cool lick, and let's check out this lick. Alright, here we have a lick which is based on the half-tone whole tone scale. And here we're starting with an odd number of notes per string, 3 in total, on the G string, and then we are staying with 6 notes on each string on the E and on the G string. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The interesting thing is everything that happens after that, because he is now playing all odd groupings of notes per string, in this case 3. Something like that. I'm not 100% sure if these are the correct notes, but more interesting is, what does our right hand have to do when we have to face odd numbers of notes per group on each string? Yes, we have to use two-way pick slanting. And now let's find out if Baxty is actually doing pick slanting. Even though on an interview of his Patreon channel, which I can highly recommend to check out, I'm a Patreon there as well, because I love to support my fellow guitar colleagues and other educators and teachers, and I can only learn from them and become a better guitar player, so hell yeah! No, but here in an interview he said that he respects the method and the approach of pick slanting, but never thought about it eventually. So a lot of things happened naturally by him, or he's really lucky. I would say like this, he is really lucky that these kind of things develop naturally without thinking too much about these kind of things. But he's definitely doing it. You can clearly see how, first of all, he has the upward pick slanting direction when he's playing the first half of the lick, because this is the pick slant direction that we need for this kind of lick. And then second, you can see how he is supinating and pronating, and how he's doing the rotation movement of his wrist to go from one pick slant to the next pick slant in between those strings, and being able to play 3 notes per string without being stuck with the tip of the pick in between strings. So is Baxty using pick slanting? Well, he may not think about it, but he's definitely doing it. So another proof that pick slanting is helping us all. And if you want to know more about pick slanting, then I can highly recommend to check out the ZEN of Speedpicking, my big online masterclass about speed picking, where we're going to face all your picking problems like speed, precision, accuracy and endurance, with tons of exercises, 10 musical etudes, a lot of workouts and a bulletproof practice plan for everybody who cannot spend 4 hours of practicing guitar every day. So check the link in the description box, there you will find more information about the ZEN of Speedpicking. That lick is definitely not easy, but man, these kind of patterns a lot of fun to play. Alright, let's continue to the next video. Okay, up next we have a really cool video where you can clearly see how beautiful 𝙤𝙬 is not only playing, but he's also composing, and how he's playing a lot with wide intervals to play out certain arpeggios and to play out certain chord structures in a really beautiful way. So let's check out this video here. Nice, so beautiful. More! I want more! Yes, give me more! Ah, my heart. Man, I really love this wide intervallic approach to arpeggios. 𝙤𝙬, you are the absolute king of that. Okay, now here are some things that we can see in the right hand of 𝙤𝙬 as well. First of all, he starts to incorporating his forearm and especially his biceps and triceps movement a little bit more when he's playing fast. His main motor is still, though, his wrist. And a perfect example for the ulnar and radial deviation movement that I discuss a lot here on this channel. So, if you are new to this channel, this would be a really good time to subscribe to this channel, click the bell, and binge watch some other videos where I especially talk about picking. Though I personally try to be as fixed as possible with the right arm and my forearm, and especially when I try to play fast licks. Because the more muscles we activate in our arm, the harder it is for our brain to perform precise movement. Now 𝙤𝙬, as well as other guitar players, are probably doing this for years and years and years and years, and they just get used to these kind of things. I would not necessarily recommend this to everybody who is just beginning into playing the high speed picking kind of motion or the high speed picking kind of technique. Like for me, for example, I was always fast on this instrument here, but I was never really precise and clean. My precision developed in the last couple of years when I started to implement certain rules into my picking. Like for example, try to be as fixed as possible in your right or forearm. This is, by the way, also a really cool pattern that 𝙤𝙬 is using a lot, which is really not easy but really cool to play, especially in 16-note triplets. And there he's playing 4 notes on the higher string, like for example like this, and then he's playing 2 notes on the B string. Or he's doing some certain string skipping, like playing a scale like this, which is not easy. I always struggle with these kind of licks, even though I can fake around it when playing fast. I'm not really clean with these kind of licks, but they're a lot of fun to play. So if you want to find cool ways how to outline arpeggios, definitely experiment a little bit with these kind of shapes. And here, for example, you can outline C major 7 sharp 11 with the Lydian kind of chord, with the Lydian kind of scale, and with this kind of pattern. Because here we have sharp 11, fifths, major 3rd, root, and major 7. And here now we have another crazy lick from 𝙤𝙬, where you can perfectly see the pick slanting approach, but also another little detail which I want to talk about and analyze of his right hand. And as well his left hand. Okay, one thing that he's doing with his right hand is that when he's going from the lower string to the higher string, he's moving more like this with the whole arm, so trying to have the same angle compared to the string. Well, this is something that I was working on for the last, I don't know, few weeks, like the last 2 months or something like that. But I stopped doing this because my golden rule is when I try to learn a new approach, I want to give it 6 weeks of developing before I can judge if something works for me or does not work for me. And I recommend this to everybody else as well, because 6 weeks is actually not really much time when you compare this to like 6 years of playing or 16 years of playing. But 6 weeks is enough time when you're constantly practicing something to create your own judgment about a certain technique. Now I went back to a different kind of approach, which I got, for example, from another crazy picking kid, Anton Operin, which is moving together with the ulnar and radial deviation of your arm while performing this picking motion. Because, again, the thing is, the more muscles we have to use in our arm, the harder it is for our brain. When we're going like this, we also have another biceps and triceps kind of movement when we're going like this and that, because we have to flex and extend our forearm into a certain direction. So what I like to do nowadays is just to put my tip of the pick on the D string and then go on the E string, and with that position I start playing. Ďaď's doing a mixture out of that. Sometimes I saw in a video before that he is doing a little bit of that. I mean, again, maybe he's not overthinking these kind of things like I do, and he's doing these kind of things for years and years and years, so he is really used to that. But I wanted to copy these kind of things, and for me I realized, oh, it's not necessarily my kind of thing. So this is the lesson here. When you try to copy a certain technique or a certain approach that you see in a guitar player that you really like and that inspired you, like Ďaď's doing to me, then give it again 6 weeks of time and then judge if this works for you or not. Alright, but I want to talk with you about his left hand as well, because there's something which I really like, and it proves, you know, for me a little bit of a point and a theory that I have, which is a little bit controversial. So let's take a look on his left hand. Here, do you see how far away his pinky is from the fretboard? And now here comes the controversial theory that I have. Flying fingers is not necessarily bad for your playing. Flying finger means that your fingers are really stretched out and really far away from the fretboard. Fretboard. Stupid word. And some people, they are obsessed with getting their fingers as close as possible to the fretboard. God damn it. But sometimes, especially for example when we play on acoustic guitar, we need this kind of stretch to gain enough momentum, to have enough strength to hit the string. I mean, we don't play acoustic guitar here right now, but I also truly believe that stretching your fingers like this is not necessarily the issue when you have a consistent movement and a consistent distance between your finger and the fretboard. The problem lies often more in this inconsistency that people have when they sometimes stretch out their finger and then they have it more close and have it here and have it not, and blah 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 blah, etc etc. I, for example, have to stretch my fingers as well a little bit when I'm playing here, because my finger compared to the rest of my finger, my pinky, is actually pretty small. So sometimes I have to use this kind of stretch to reach out for a specific string. Like this. And here there, for example, you could clearly see, because I'm no Ďaď, there was an inconsistency in the distance between my pinky and my fretboard, and by that I felt how one note was desynchronized, because my left hand was a little bit quicker on the string than my pick. Inconsistency in these kind of things, these are mostly more the problem and not necessarily the flying fingers. So don't be too obsessed with having your fingers too close to the fretboard. It is totally fine in certain situations when you have flying fingers, as long as you have a consistency in your right hand and the distance is always kind of the same. Alright, now here I have for you the last video of today's video from Ďaď, and this is a solo that he made for the latest 𝙤𝙢 Strat collaboration, and I'm really happy that Ďaď is in these kind of collaborations, as well as other of my favorite guitar players like Stephen Taranto, etc etc. And here he showcased perfectly how beautiful and how tastefully he can also play the guitar. It's not only about speed and precision in his playing, it's also about melody and melodic approach. So let's take a look on this video here. Alright, so much about Bastian Martinez, aka 𝙡𝙗. Again, one of my currently big inspiration musically and technically, etc, etc. He's such a great guy. And that bastard is also extremely handsome, and he has a killer statistic in PUBG Battlegrounds, which is one of his favorite video games and one of my favorite video games. And 𝙡𝙗, if you see this, we still have to play together. If you didn't know 𝙡𝙗 yet, then definitely check out his Instagram, check out his music on Spotify, check out his contribution to the latest 𝙤𝙤𝙀𝙀 record. And if you want to learn more from 𝙡𝙗, he's giving private lessons. Some of my students had lessons with him and they all were like, okay, these lessons were really, really good. We discussed some stuff there and I thought like, okay, goddammit, I may have to take a lesson from him as well. Maybe I could do a lesson video with him here together on this channel. Maybe let's have him here over as a guest for an interview. If you want to see 𝙡𝙗 here on my channel, then write it down in the comments. And again, I can highly recommend to check out his Patreon and to check out his lessons to support him. He's a really great guy with a really great career ahead of him, and I can wait what he will bring to the guitar world in the future. So much about this little video. I hope you like this little video. I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. Cheers and power your progress. Bye.